Guys, what is going on? It's Chris Colgan with EXP Realty, powered by Place. And you know what? On YouTube lately, I've been noticing a ton of videos on like the negative things about Northern Virginia. And you know what? Yours truly, if you can believe it, actually made one as well in the past. But you know, if someone who's lived here their entire life, I thought, why not come up with a list of all the reasons why I love living in Northern Virginia? So I came up with a list of the top 16 reasons why I love living here and why I've never left Northern Virginia in my long life. And I'm not gonna tell you how old I am. And if you have any real estate related questions, definitely shoot me an email or text me at the number below. But let's get right into the video. Okay, number one is going to be obvious. The location of Northern Virginia is key. We are right next to Washington, D.C., and everything is super close. You can take a couple-hour drive or maybe even a bus or a train right up to New York City. You're there in a couple hours. You're close to Baltimore. You're close to Philadelphia. You're right close to Washington, D.C., where like everything is. The White House, the Smithsonian, the Kennedy Center. The location here is killer, and I have seen so many people leave Northern Virginia only to come back and say that one of the things they missed about it was the location and that there's so much to do here, and that is one of my favorite things, especially the proximity to DC for sure. And we also have our own like culture and lifestyle here in Northern Virginia. But location is probably the number one thing I love about Northern Virginia. Number two is going to be diversity. This has got to be one of the most diverse locations in all of the United States. Obviously, we have a lot of different people from different countries moving in and out, and all kinds of different cultures, and also a lot of people going to the different embassies and all that of Washington, D.C. So the diversity here is definitely key. I have met different friends and families and then had clients from all kinds of different countries, all kinds of different states. This is a very transient area. People are always moving in and out, especially when you see a new presidential administration come through. So like maybe when Obama was out of office, a bunch of people moved out that worked for that administration and then moved in for the Trump one. Same for Biden. So we see a lot of people come and go, and there's a ton of diversity and different types of cultures in this area, and we definitely love that. Number three, my favorite subject, as you can guess, housing. I really love the housing here. Yes, we can definitely get your basic cookie cutter colonial style houses here in Northern Virginia, but you also have a lot of like condos, townhouses. We have basements, which other parts of the country don't have. So most houses around here do come with 3 levels. They have large primary bedrooms. You also have some of these huge townhouses that are just like bigger than most houses. And then you get into even some high-rise condos like in the Reston area or the Fairfax, Alexandria area. So pretty much any type of housing you want, we have it. And it can go anywhere from $200,000 all the way up to Dan Snyder, the owner of the Commanders, paid $50 million for a property in Alexandria right on the water and the Potomac. So housing here is definitely key. I love some of the housing here, the different neighborhoods we have. We have golf course communities, lake communities, pretty much anything and everything you could want in housing, and that is definitely huge. And a lot of these neighborhoods, what ended up happening was the communities or the counties would make the builder donate the land for the elementary school. So a lot of these larger communities, like maybe out here in Haymarket or Ashburn or Herndon, they have their own elementary school or their own middle school. So that is definitely one of my favorite things. And if you have any housing questions, definitely text me at the number below. Me and my team work with mainly people who call from my YouTube channel, just like you, so definitely hit us up. And of course, subscribe. I gotta put that in there as well. Number 4 is the weather here in Northern Virginia. I love the fact that we have all 4 seasons right now. We're in the winter, but it's about 40 or 50 degrees out, and it's kind of cold. And the other day it was 80, but you know what? We're coming into the spring. You can see the leaves are coming on all the trees. I have a weeping willow tree in my backyard, and that is like coming into full bloom. And then we have this beautiful spring where all the grass is green, everyone's running outside and playing. We do get that rain as well. And then we go into the summer. A lot of people go away though. They head out to maybe Outer Banks, North Carolina. When we get that summer heat, there's tons of concerts, breweries, wineries, things to do. Then you get into that fall and you have that nice fall crisp air. The temperature starts to drop, but it's plenty of things to do outside. Watch a high school football game. And then when you get around to Christmas time and the winter and it snows sometimes here, so you get to experience all 4 seasons, which I really love about it. Do I get sick of the winter sometimes? Yes, of course. Do I sometimes get sick of it when it's 100 degrees outside and you see nothing but air conditioning trucks driving up and down the street? Yeah, of course, but we do get to experience all 4 seasons. Number 5, one thing that I think some people, and comment below if you disagree with me, but I feel like people here are very nice and genuine, and I've gone to other parts of the country and people have not always been like that. And like I've said before, I've had clients move away to different states. I'm not gonna name any, and they've said, you know what, the people here in Northern Virginia were a lot nicer. I think maybe it's because we're so transient and people usually work for the federal government and they come in and out so much, but people here, just to me, are just typically genuine and nice. I love everyone around here. Don't really like have any beef with anybody that I know of at this point, but everybody here is really kind. I do a lot of things. We have plenty of friends, always get invited to kids' parties, weddings, whatever. The community here sense is really strong, and I really love the people. Another thing I like though too is I feel like people here are a lot more quicker. Sometimes when you go to certain areas like in the South or California, people move a lot slower, but people here are definitely at a faster pace. As you can tell, because I talk super fast, but I feel like in this area, people are definitely kind, and I love that. Number 6, the biggest reason, the biggest thing I love about Northern Virginia outside of the location is going to be the job market. There's a saying, if Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Northern Virginia go down, the rest of the country goes down with us. We obviously have the federal government here, and that is, well, if the government, unless our federal government goes away, I know they're writing up a lot of debt, but our job market here is killer. You're seeing all these companies move in here, like Boeing just moved their headquarters here, Raytheon, Amazon, we have Leidos, Mantech, just all kinds of large companies in the area. But key is we have all these federal contracting and defense department jobs. And I don't know about you, but I watch the news and it seems like they're always spending a lot of money in the United States on defense and other things like that. And most of that money tends to pour into our area. So unless the United States government is going down, which some of you may comment and think it is, but you know what? I tend to bet on the people of the United States and our government. And I think that's a key thing, is the job market here is definitely killer. And that brings a lot of people in and out of the area, and we have really high wages as well. Number 7, another huge thing. I am really into music, and you wouldn't really know this, but we have a place here called Jiffy Lube Live, which is owned by Live Nation. They get all the huge music acts that you can think of. I've seen Maroon 5 there, Eminem, to 311, to Janet Jackson, to huge country concerts. We have a huge country music scene here. The other thing is we have another place called Meriwether Post Pavilion that's in the area, and Wolf Trap, and there's all kinds of different music venues. And then when you get into Washington, D.C., we have Echo Stage, which is probably the number 1 or 2 EDM location of all of the United States, if you're into that type of music. And then we have Capital One Arena, which is based in Washington, D.C., and that's where you see the huge music acts come through when we have large tours, or maybe they do National Stadium, places like that, someone like a Bad Bunny that my wife would go to. Those huge acts come around. There's a very large music scene here, especially when it gets into country, hip hop, and like 90s alternative, but pretty much anything and everything you're into, you can find it. And also, I went and saw Hamilton at the Kennedy Center right in Washington, D.C., so not many places are gonna have that. And all of these places I'm talking about are only like a 30 to 45 minute drive from Northern Virginia, and you can also just take an Uber or the metro system. So all the music scene here is huge. I've seen music acts, and I know people in the music industry say that this area is one of the best music towns around. Number 8, which is also gonna be huge, is we have a couple of major airports here. So you have Dulles International Airport. That's gonna be more of like your international flights if you're going to like a Europe or a Dubai or Asia. That's located in Loudoun County. A little bit more convenient airport is called National Airport. Growing up, my job was, when I worked for my family, was I was always drive the pilots to National Airport, and they would, you know, take off and fly to different locations from my father's company and all that. But National is key. It's right in Arlington. That was one of the things that brought Amazon here. And that is a really like easy airport to get in and out of. They both have the metro system that goes right through there. Keep in mind though, since 9/11 and Obviously, National is right next to Washington, D.C. They've really changed the flight path there. But also you have another option. You have BWI, which is Baltimore Washington Airport. I don't use that one as much, but National has definitely become a lot more popular due to its convenience factor over Dulles, because Dulles, when you do get to the terminal, you have to ride this separate bus system to get to the other part of the terminal. Don't ask, it's a huge task, but it is a beautiful airport. And the airport here are really close. And then there's a private airport called Manassas Airport. And that's where you see a lot of like the private jets fly into and in and out, but plenty of airport options. Number 9, another thing I love about Northern Virginia is we have our metro system that goes into DC, parts of Virginia. They've tried to extend this thing out further towards Gainesville and Woodbridge, and it just hasn't happened, but it did go out to Ashburn on the Silver Line, through Tyson's, the Dulles Airport, and all these other things, but you can ride that right into Arlington, Alexandria, Tyson's Corner, right into DC and parts of Maryland. And then we also have the Virginia Railway Express, which you can ride the commuter train out to Manassas, to Stafford, Fredericksburg, all kinds of different areas. There was rumors that it might come out to Haymarket area. That's not going to happen, but we have some great mass transit opportunities, especially that rail system. And the metro system here is very clean because we have a lot of tourism that comes through DC. So it's not like other cities. You don't really see like a speck of dirt on the ground on some of these trains. They're very clean, very safe, and that's one of the things I really love about Northern Virginia. Number 10 is going to be beautiful parks. I've grown up here my whole life next to the Manassas battlefield, where large parts of the Civil War will fall, and we also have tons of other green space like Centerville Park, Fairfax has parks, Arlington has parks, and you can even take a short drive out to the Shenandoah Valley if you're into hiking or all that, you know, the Luray Cabin. So we have a lot of like park scenes here, tons of soccer fields, football fields, baseball fields, some of the largest ones in the country, all kinds of green space here in Northern Virginia, which I really love about that. Do I look like I run around and go jogging and hiking all day long? No, I don't, but you know what? You might, and that's something that I know a lot of people are into. Number 11, one of my favorite things. Text me anytime and I'll give you advice. Wineries and breweries. We have these amazing places here. Wine is huge in the state of Virginia, especially in Northern Virginia. When you get out to like a Fauquier County, Loudoun, or even Prince William County, there are plenty of wineries and breweries. There's an amazing brewery here in Northern Virginia called Two Silos. It has an outdoor concert event that people travel from all over ours to just go and hang out at. It is an awesome brewery. They're expanding that to have its own boutique hotel there as well. But we have these beautiful wineries. One of my favorites is Quattro Goombas. They have like their own custom pizza that they make that's really popular. Another one that I'm thinking about outside of Two Silos is Old Busthead, located in Fauquier County, is a great brewery. So tons of local breweries and wineries, if that is your scene, and they all have these beautiful views, great atmospheres, definitely something you should check out. Number 12, one of my favorite things as well, we have a lot of newer schools here. So with all the growth and population of the suburbs getting pushed further and further out, look like I'm like raising the roof here, further and further out, we have a lot of brand new high schools, like right here where I live in Prince William County. We have my favorite school, Colgan High School, named after my grandfather, Senator Colgan. We have Gainesville High School, we have Patriot. All these schools have been built within like the last 10 or 15 years. The middle schools, elementary schools, most of the schools here are brand new and have a lot of technology, and they're rated very highly. So definitely keep that in mind. You're not gonna come here and find many buildings, you know, from the 1800s and all that. Pretty much everything here when it comes to schools is brand new. Number 13, like I said, tons of companies based here. Amazon obviously just made that move where they're gonna cut back a little bit, but they moved their second headquarters here. We just had Boeing move their headquarters here. Same with Raytheon, and then you have Lockheed Martin, all these huge defense contractors. I've actually sold plenty of homes to plenty of government workers as well, to FBI, CIA, Secret Service, FAA out in the Warrenton area. I've worked with a ton of federal people as well who watch my channel. So there's just all kinds of companies and government entities based here in Northern Virginia, which is definitely huge. Like there's a bunch of FBI field offices as well in the area. There's a big one in Manassas. But that is definitely huge. All these companies that are based here, and I know the government has been saying lately, some of these companies, look, if you want to land these big government contracts, you need to be based here in the DC and Northern Virginia area. Virginia tends to be a little bit more business friendly than DC and Maryland. So you see a lot of these companies come to our side of the Potomac over DC or Maryland, and that's another huge thing for us. Number 14, like I just mentioned, government jobs. There are so many government jobs here from anything you can think of. We're obviously based right outside of Washington, D.C. So a lot of people will move into the area for government jobs. We got the Pentagon there right in Arlington as well. So government jobs, pretty much anything you want to do in the government, you can find it here. I've sold so many houses for people that got jobs with whatever, the EPA, FCC, whatever government entity you could think of, the CIA. Most of them are based here in the DC and Northern Virginia area. Even if their main office is in DC, they're gonna have field offices all around the Virginia area, Northern Virginia area as well. Number 15, we definitely have a unique nightlife here. So you can go to a lot of local bars or restaurants. Keep in mind, most things close around 1:30. You can go into DC where things stay open a lot later here, but most of the time you're gonna find a lot of these cool dive bars or different types of like franchise style bars like that. But definitely a unique nightlife, or you can just take an Uber or the train right into DC and go into a club if that's your scene, or go see a dinner show at the Kennedy Center, whatever you want to do, but an amazing nightlife here in Northern Virginia. Is it something like New York City and Los Angeles? Probably not, because a lot of this is the suburbs and all that, but we do have somewhat of a nightlife. And then last but not least, which I don't know why, but it is, I'm really into sneakers. If you can't tell by the spinning sneakers in the background, one of my favorite things is the shopping in the area. Like one of the best places is called Tyson's Corner, located in Vienna. And I've said this before, that was when Steve Jobs got Apple into retail. That is where they put the very first Apple store due to the wealth and everything around there and the location of the mall there. The Lerner family, who owns the Washington National, started that area there. So that's a great shopping location. There's just all kinds of unique different shops if you wanted to hit up Middleburg, Virginia, which is more like farm and horse country and all that as well, but definitely tons of different shopping. Or you could take the train or the bus all the way up to New York City, do shopping there, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Richmond, pretty much anywhere you wanted to go. But I hope you liked my video. Definitely comment below though on what you guys think are some of your favorite or at least favorite things about Northern Virginia. This is a great place to live. I will tell you, I would love to be your real estate agent of choice. Me and my team work with a ton of people who watch this YouTube channel all the time. Every day people call us just like you, so definitely don't be afraid to shoot me an email or shoot me a text or shoot me a call. Or you can send a pigeon, whatever you want if it makes it to me. But as always, please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you at the top or from the top.